His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ministers of the Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Governors of Federal States, Honorable Godwin Emefiele, Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I must say that I would have liked to be with you this afternoon in person in Abuja for this very important event, but regrettably, I'm not able to come due to the conflicting commitments, but at least I can connect it in this way, which is maybe one of the big outcomes of the pandemic. Allow me to express my appreciation for the opportunity to address this outstanding gathering. I wish to appreciate really the immense efforts of the government of the Republic of Nigeria, the federal state, central bank, and all the other stakeholders, both public and private, that have all played, as we see it, a key role to shift the needle in improving the lives of citizens with a leap of over 10% in financial inclusion, which is huge, from 53% in 2010 to 64% in 2020. I also take this opportunity to thank the National Financial Inclusion Governance Committee for inviting me to deliver the keynote for this third plenary session at your conference. Let us turn to the theme of this plenary session: Catalyzing Global Partnerships for Financial Inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first reflect on the current situation that we are all in, social, political, and economic situation. Although the COVID-19 pandemic has eased, fortunately eased, there is a global environment now that I think some observers and also we at AFI have coined a situation of polycrisis, which shall continue to affect our operating environment in the coming years. The world economy is expected to remain stressed, with inflationary pressures and slow growth in most regions. Heightened geopolitical tensions, food and energy crisis, climate change, and migration of people within and across countries will present risks and challenges for policymakers who are already challenged to more and more manage conflicting macro objectives. At the same time, we are also witnessing the weakening of international coalitions, international or global alliances. And there are really geopolitical changes that are new and that are now emerging. Now, with all this, it is clear that old patterns that we are all used to, like the conventional North-South or East-West groupings, they simply don't work anymore. However, there's also the risk that, on the other hand, we will be seeing more protectionism, more segregation, more isolationism, and ultimately more inequality, all of which have far-reaching implications in undermining an inclusive society. That is why such gatherings like this one that you are hosting today are very crucial, as the world can't afford losing the gains of inclusion that we have all achieved together in the past years. Now, as a matter of fact, as we work towards finding impactful policy solutions to many of the challenges that are ahead of us, to ensure that no one is left behind, we are faced actually with two choices. One, which looks at going at it alone and sees the global community even as competitors and potential threats, and another that embraces partnership, collaboration, and looks outward to engage and share as part of a global community which really stands for inclusiveness. Dear participants, while Nigeria has made tremendous progress in increasing access and usage of quality financial services with the various policy measures and initiatives that include frameworks on financial literacy, agent banking, and mobile money operations, among others, challenges such as gaps in financial access for vulnerable groups, which include women, youth, and those living in rural areas, those remain. Globally, the world is undergoing a lot of changes as well. Technology is ever evolving and new financial service providers are coming to the fore. Financial services, there is no doubt, will continue to be shaped by technology, probably even more than in the past, and definitely faster. While there are obvious benefits, risks of technology are emerging, and with digitization moving forward, the need to work towards frameworks that prevent, manage, and mitigate, for example, cyber threats is imminent. The most recent reminder of emerging risks for us is the collapse of the FTX platform that has been sending real shockwaves across the crypto industry. There's an absolute necessity to keep the risks of technology in check. I think there is no doubt about that. Please allow me, therefore, in this context, to reiterate my call for action to the regulators, market actors, and other stakeholders in the ecosystem to leverage digital technologies in a responsible and safe manner as we reach out to vulnerable segments of society, such as the poor, the women, and the forcibly displaced persons. And the need for better market conduct and enhanced financial capability is never out of fashion, especially in the advent of the glory of financial technology. Now, partnerships and collaboration provide great opportunities for us as policymakers and regulators to better understand and embrace these changes as we strive for a more equitable and sustainable society. And we have observed the convergence around the challenges of digital technologies, the solutions around digital technologies. And this convergence actually means that the world is moving more closely together. To find solutions, it requires global interaction. And these risks of technology actually force us to exchange and learn from each other. And in all this, central banks' mandates are also adjusting. Central banks are actually fulfilling their mandates in a quite flexible way nowadays. In a recent relevant discussion at our Global Policy Forum in Jordan just 2 months ago, a discussion which I think was really interesting and highly appreciated by all the participants, and Deputy Governor Aisha Ahmad from Central Bank of Nigeria also participated very strongly in this panel. That panel actually concluded that the mandates of the central banks actually don't have to necessarily change formally, but a lot can be done within the given mandates. And in all this, collaboration would be key. Now, since 2008, the Alliance for Financial Inclusion has been a true champion of collaboration, partnerships, and cooperation. And our success, and indeed our very existence, is a result of our members' strong belief in the benefits and the power of peer-to-peer relationships across the global community. And this partnership model that we are applying every day is actually built on trust, strategic alignment, mutual benefit, and respect. It's very important, even to repeat: trust, strategic alignment, mutual benefit, and respect, with the aim to break down the barriers to financial inclusion and the recognition that the type of crisis that our members are facing and will likely face in the period ahead requires synergetic efforts and strong global partnerships beyond the AFI membership as well. To meet this demand, I would like to just mention to you 2 highly relevant partnership platforms that have been set up to support our members, namely the Developing Country Dialogue Platform and the Public-Private Dialogue Platform, the so-called PPD. Let me start with the latter. The Public-Private Dialogue Platform, the PPD platform, provides collaboration space between the public and the private sector decision makers to advance financial inclusion. The PPD builds public-private trust, raises awareness among AFI members of innovative products and services, and it also identifies key regulatory and market barriers, and as well opportunities to scale up financial inclusion. Here in Africa, at the regional level, also globally, the PPD has been instrumental in facilitating meaningful dialogue between AFI members and the private sector partners on key financial inclusion issues, and thus ensure very well-informed policy design that encourages innovation. There is, for example, AFI Technical Public-Private Dialogue, which is called digital currencies, opportunities and challenges for inclusive finance that was held in June 22 in Arusha in Tanzania, where policymakers from the Africa region and the AFI private sector partners agreed that adoption of digital currencies needs to be contextual, looking at the challenges faced in each country, and that there is need for collaboration between the public and the private sectors to come up with appropriate design of digital currency technologies and to identify suitable use cases for financial inclusion. Let me have a look at the so-called 3D platform, which is our developing country platform. This platform allows for systematic exchange between developing and developed country policymakers and regulators on financial inclusion policy innovation. AFI members, developed country policymakers, and partners are able to work together in a complementary and synergetic way towards shared financial inclusion policy priorities. For instance, AFI, in conjunction with the Czech National Bank, facilitated a global 3D on inclusive fintech, which brought together policymakers from all over the world, from developed and from developing countries, and ended with an outline of priority convergence topics, including payment innovations, payment system oversight, fintech ecosystem, and well-being, as well as digital banking innovations. And it was noted during the dialogue that the advantage of emerging economies is that they can leapfrog the current business models or technologies that are slowly becoming obsolete and thus adopt cutting-edge innovations. This was a major insight that I think the developed country policymakers took away. And I think this is the kind of dialogue we would like to encourage in the future as well. Of course, we also, apart from the public-private dialogue platform and 3D, we also engage in other international contexts where we work with the IMF, the different institutions under the World Bank Group, including CGAP, academia, and so forth. And very recently, we are also collaborating with the University of Luxembourg on developing an inclusive green finance roadmap. Now, as I conclude, my dear distinguished participants, setting up global partnerships is a demanding operation that will require stakeholders who can really understand and are able to work with others from diverse backgrounds, with sometimes diverging ideas. But successful partnerships to advance financial inclusion should be anchored on a stable framework that allows for flexibility to adjust to the ever-changing environment. In addition, there should be a clear communication strategy among the partners so that there is maximum transparency, both within and outside of the partnership. And the main task of partnership should be to find ways in which institutions with all the different tasks, responsibilities, and approaches can cooperate in alignment to achieve the strategic objective, excuse me, in this case, 95% financial inclusion in Nigeria by 2024. Now, as partnerships set themselves common targets, they become answerable about reaching these targets. And there will be a need to agree on a framework to monitor and evaluate the progress being made in achieving the set targets through the global partnerships. It is important to do this from the very beginning when setting up these partnerships so that questions regarding the outcome of the partnership and the resources involved can be answered and the value added of the partnership's work be made visible. Ladies and gentlemen, a free flow of knowledge and productive ideas will bring us to a better future. Those who choose to hide behind walls and barriers may soon discover that they have been left far behind. Our motto, as I would actually repeat it here, in short, would be embrace, but not compete. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the government of the Republic of Nigeria, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and all relevant stakeholders for their unwavering efforts to ensure that no one is left behind through the launch of the revised National Financial Inclusion Strategy 3.0, National Strategy Leveraging Agent Networks for Women's Financial Inclusion, National FinTech Strategy, and Nigeria Financial Services Maps, the NFS Maps. I thank you very much for your attention and wish you a very fruitful deliberation. As I said, I would have loved to be there, but there's always a next opportunity. So thank you very much and all the best.